Hi everyone, my name is Rivki Walensky from Moscow, Russia, and I was asked to share about an experience that I wrote about on Yud Alef Nissan. And honestly, this is definitely going out of my comfort zone to share this again, this time on video, but I feel like it's the right thing, so I'm going to try. We're in Shluchus for the past 10 years in Moscow, and even though from the beginning we thought about working towards getting Russian citizenship, we heard that it's a really, really long and difficult process and there's no guarantee that it will be successful. So we kind of just kept pushing it off until about 2.5 years ago, we heard that there's a new law that if you have Russian roots, like someone in your family is from Russia, then and you speak the Russian language, that you can have a shortcut to citizenship and it shouldn't be so difficult. So we tried, and it was much harder than we thought. It took over 2 years just to collect the right documents that prove that I have Russian roots. I won't go into it. And even once we finally had everything we needed, we still needed a big miracle that it should go through, because this place, this government building where they check the documents, they're very, very, very particular. They could refuse a document just because there is a tiny difference in spelling between two papers, or they're always looking for any tiny mistake that could disqualify it. So we went, but I was warned. I was with a friend who's from Bana Chabad, and she's like, don't, just because we're here, it doesn't mean it's going to work out. Most people have to come back again and again and again because they keep finding mistakes. But I was really, positive that it's going to work out. It was Rosh Chodesh Adar, and we sat and we waited, and we waited and waited and waited for almost 4 hours. It was very, very uncomfortable. And towards the end, I was just feeling like, oh my gosh, this better not be for nothing. All this hard work for the past 2 years, and especially now, just, spending a whole day, 2-hour car ride to get there, and now waiting over 4 hours in a very uncomfortable place. And I felt like I really want to ask the Rebbe for a bracha, that it should be successful, it shouldn't be for nothing. But I didn't have pen and paper, I didn't have Wi-Fi there, so I didn't have a way. But then I opened the Dvar Malchus, and I was very tired, so I didn't have strength to learn the Maimer. I turned the page and I saw the letter of the Rebbe, and I started reading it, and it was an amazing, clear bracha. It said the Rebbe was writing to someone that he's sorry to hear about the delay in getting all the documents and permissions that he needed. And the Rebbe says, but I'm sure that in the end there's going to be Dida Natzach, and you'll be free to focus all your time on your real shlichus of being, spreading the wellsprings of Chassidus. And I was like, wow, this is such a clear bracha. There's also some other amazing things that happened, but right when I got this answer, this clear bracha from the Rebbe, they called my number, and we came, and even though they found mistakes, and they're like, oh, I think we're gonna have to refuse you, but I just I didn't even get nervous. I felt like I know we have the Rebbe's bracha, and Baruch Hashem, they ended up letting it go, and that was amazing. So I was done with step 1, and now I had to do a Russian test to show that I'm fluent in Russian, which I shouldn't admit it out loud, but I'm not fluent in Russian. So I needed a very big miracle to be able to pass the Russian test. And Baruch Hashem, I came 2 weeks later, and it was also, I'm not going to go into it, but it was a very, very big miracle. It was also in the month of Adar, and on a lucky day for our family, and I came there, and I just felt like, Hashem is taking care of me. This whole place is created just for us. I was only, of course, Jewish person there, and Baruch Hashem, miraculously, my interview passed, and now basically I'm done. I'm able to go for the, for the next step, to apply for the, for permanent residency, which leads to citizenship. So now I had to come again, do medical tests, and we did that a whole day, and then to come back again and actually just bring everything together and apply. So I come there, and the day that they gave me for my application day was Yud Alef Nissan. And at first I was like, Yud Alef Nissan, I don't want to spend my Yud Alef Nissan 4 hours in a car, plus who knows how many hours in a government office. And it's a few days before Pesach, never mind. It's not where I want to be. But I realized, it's a shkacha pratis, and I really need the mazel gaiver, because this whole thing, you really need a lot of mazel. It's totally siyata dishmaya. if it works or not. So I figured, okay, like this is the luckiest day of the year, and we went. When I got there, Baruch Hashem, like 5 minutes later, they already called us, and they called us to window number 11, and I was like, okay. I was expecting miracles, and here I was seeing it clearly, like 11, and even my not Lubavitch friend like tried to take a picture of it because she was also like, wow. And they found huge mistake with my immigration card that was on the wrong passport, and even though that's something that they would never like let go, they let it go. And again, I wasn't even surprised. I was like, of course, it's Yud Alef Nissan. And then they found another like mistake, which they almost refused us for, and in the end she came back and she's like, it's fine. And like this friend and the lawyer who were with me were like shocked. They were like laughing. They're like, oh my gosh, this never happens. This would never go through. This is amazing. This is such open miracle. She even said, like, if I come with you one more time, like I'm going to become a chassid, because like this is just such clear open miracles. And I was just, feeling like, wow, this is so amazing. Went to do my fingerprints and like picture, and I come back, and now it's the final thing that we need to wait for, now that we have everything, we just need to apply. And while we're waiting, we learned the mimer on an Nesiv Malka from Yud Alef Nissan, I choose the king. And finally, after a few hours, long hours of waiting, they called us, this time number 14, to window number 14. And that's where all these amazing miracles kind of stopped. Apparently, because she just, I gave her my passport, and my passport I had given in so many times before. Nobody ever noticed a problem. And suddenly she opens it, and the first second she's like, doesn't have a signature. There's no way that this is valid. And I was like shocked. Signature? Like I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't sign my passport. And no one had noticed. Like I already flew with this passport. Nobody, no one noticed. I gave this passport so many times. No one noticed. Suddenly here, like at the very, very end, she's saying like, sorry, you don't have your passport. There's like, that means your copy and translation are not valid. Like there's nothing to do about it. You have to come back another time. And, right away, like my friend got nervous because she's like, oh my gosh, if we are going to have to go back another time, in the meantime, other parts of my documents, like my fingerprints, are going to become expired, and I'm going to have to do it all over again. It's going to take another few months just to get back to this point. But when I heard these words, like, you're missing a signature, I can't even explain to you. Like, it was just such a clear moment for me, of such a clear sign from Hashem, and I just started crying and crying and crying. I was like, I don't even know when the last time I cried like that. I just got very, very emotional because I was like, oh my goodness, Hashem is really telling me something here that I didn't want to hear, that I didn't want to know, because it was Yud Alef Nissan, and on my mind had been, this question about signatures, because there was like someone, spreading a campaign to sign, Kabbalas Malchus, and I myself didn't even sign yet. And I felt a little guilty. I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do it. And I definitely didn't feel comfortable sharing it, passing it around to other groups, but I also felt a little like that would be the right thing to do, but I just don't feel comfortable. And, I was missing my signature for the Rebbe on that day on Yud Alef Nissan. And here they were like, this is what's stopping it. And it sounds crazy because the signature is the easiest part. I mean, it's nothing. It takes 5 seconds less, and it takes no effort. It's so easy. And this could hold back the whole process that I worked on for over 2 years, and all the miracles that I experienced. It didn't make sense. And this, to me, was the message that, yes, it's really possible that, we've been through so much. We've been through thousands of years of galus. We've been through, and we got so far, we got so close to the point of, we're ready for Geulah, and the Rebbe told us everything was done, everything with, and so many miracles and amazing things happened. But this was my message, that I heard, that yes, the little signature, my little signature is what's missing and could be holding back this whole process from finishing. And I was just literally crying out loud, and she was like, what's going on? Okay, it's really upsetting, but she didn't expect such a reaction. And I just told her, I think I know why this happened. I understand the message. And And I tried my best to explain it to her, and she actually really got it. And the only question she had is like, well, what about after Gimel Tammuz? And I said, of course, like, it's not an issue at all in halacha. Like, Mashiach can come from those who passed away. And she really got it right when the operation started with Ukraine. And, I remember learning in Parshas Mishpatim, the Rebbe said that because of the signatures that Rabbanim gave, saying that the Rebbe is the Cheskas Mashiach and that the time for Geulah has arrived, that this is what allowed Mashiach to fulfill his role as Mashiach in creating peace in the world. And this is what caused the peace agreement between the United States and Russia back in 1991. And I was thinking like maybe this is what's needed, where this is like just some signatures that could actually bring world peace and allow Mashiach to finish his job. Like this is I didn't want to believe that this is possible, but then on Yud Alef Nissan, it just kind of came together saying like the mazel gaiver that I needed today was not about me getting, some document, but it was about me being strong in acknowledging that the Rebbe needs us. The Rebbe really, really needs us in order to be able to fulfill his shlichus. Yaakov Yehuda Hecht, who, once told the Rebbe, I don't have to worry about opposition, that the Rebbe has opposition. It sounds a little like the Shmuel Malkus story. Because if the Rebbe wants the opposition to go away, just with a snap of his finger, he can make it go away. So, it's the Rebbe's issue. And the Rebbe answered that I have as much kayach as the Chassidim give me. And if we think about it, he was saying it in connection with Vayikchu Lecha, and how we have to give back to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe has, it's that heart and body connection that, we have to give back to the heart, and that's what gives the Rebbe strength. That's what gives the Rebbe the ability to continue to give us even more and to bring us to the full Geulah, to redeem us. How hard is it? We love the Rebbe. We know the Rebbe is the greatest person in history, and why wouldn't we want to just give our signature and just say yes, I'm in your army. I'm your nation. I choose you. I choose the king, and I choose you to be my king. And when we do that, there's nothing to lose, and there's really everything to gain, because this is what the Rebbe said. The only thing left is Kabbalah's Pnei Mashiach. And what does that mean? Of course, there's different ways to understand, but from so many things that the Rebbe said, it's just so clear that the Rebbe couldn't ask us directly, but this is what the Rebbe needs from us, and we have to understand it on our own.